Is the clutter stealing your peace? It's like every misplaced item is shouting at you, isn't it? I know just how that feels. For years, my home was a real battleground, every surface covered, every drawer overflowing, every cabinet on the verge of collapse. And despite my attempts to organize, nothing seemed to work for very long. That's when I discovered something that completely changed my relationship with my space, and surprisingly, with myself. Today, I want to share with you the 7 principles of organization that transformed my home from a chaotic storage unit into a sanctuary of tranquility, without needing to get rid of everything I love. If you've tried everything to keep your house in order, and nothing has worked, this video will show you what no one has told you about organization. It's not about having fewer things, it's about having the right things, in the right places, for the right reasons. Shall we begin? The truth is, we live in a society that teaches us we need more. More clothes, more gadgets, more decor, more of everything. We buy things to fill voids that in reality shouldn't even be filled. The result? Homes suffocated by objects, bills piling up, and ironically, less satisfaction with what we have. When I looked at the tradition of Japanese minimalism, I realized there was a deep wisdom there. It wasn't about having an empty, cold house, as many people think. It was about creating space for what truly matters, about valuing every item that enters our home, about finding beauty in simplicity. The first principle that transformed my home was understanding that each object needs to have a clear purpose. I borrowed this concept and began to look at everything I had in my home with a simple question. Does this serve me in some concrete way, or bring me genuine joy? It was scary at first. I realized that a large part of what I had accumulated over the years didn't answer yes to any of those questions. Gifts I kept out of obligation, clothes I hadn't worn in years waiting for a special occasion, gadgets I bought thinking I would change my habits, all taking up physical and mental space. The process of letting go was gradual. I started with the easiest items: duplicate kitchen utensils, worn-out clothes, old papers. With each object that left my home, I felt a mix of relief and lightness. It was as if each decision to let go was a small act of liberation. The second principle that changed my relationship with space was the idea that everything needs to have a defined place. Not just any place, but a logical one, easily accessible, and that makes sense with the way we use our home on a daily basis. Observe your own patterns. Where do you naturally put your keys when you get home? In which part of the kitchen do you prepare meals most often? Which items do you use every day and which are occasional? I reorganized my entire house following this logic. Everyday items are always within reach. Seasonal or less frequently used objects have been stored in less accessible locations, and most importantly, I created simple systems that I could maintain effortlessly. For instance, at the entrance of my home there is now a small console table with a drawer for keys and a hook for bags. It's that simple. I no longer have to search for my keys all over the house or toss my bag on the sofa. This little system saves me precious minutes every day and eliminates that daily frustration. In the kitchen, I reorganized the cabinets according to how often I use things. The glasses and plates I use daily are in the most accessible cabinet. The special dishes for guests are on the higher shelves. The utensils are grouped by function, not by size or material. This makes meal prep much more fluid and enjoyable. The third principle I learned was about the importance of empty space. In the tradition I studied, empty space is not viewed as something to be filled, but as an essential element of design and well-being. Think about how you feel when you enter a cramped room versus a space with open areas. Empty space allows your eyes to rest, your mind to relax, and the air to circulate. It's like a necessary pause in a piece of music. Without it, everything just turns into noise. I started to value clear surfaces. The living room table didn't need to have elaborate decorations. The kitchen counter didn't need to display all the appliances I own. The walls didn't have to be covered with pictures. This change was transformative. Suddenly my home felt bigger, airier, and calmer. Cleaning became much easier and quicker. And interestingly, the few objects I kept on display gained more prominence and value. The fourth principle relates to the quality of the items we choose to have in our homes. I learned to value quality over quantity. A good set of knives that lasts for decades is better than several cheap sets that need to be replaced constantly. A well-made piece of clothing that goes with several others is more valuable than many lower quality items. This doesn't mean I only started buying expensive or brand name items. It means I learned to evaluate what is truly worth it. Sometimes, the simplest item is the most functional and durable. Other times, it's worth investing a little more in something that will be used frequently. This change in mindset has deeply affected my consumption habits. Nowadays, I think much more before buying anything. I research, evaluate the real necessity, consider the space the item will occupy, and imagine how often I will actually use it. The result is that I buy much less, but each purchase brings me much more satisfaction. The fifth principle I adopted was the practice of daily maintenance. Instead of letting clutter pile up until it turns into a weekend project, I've started incorporating small organization habits into my daily routine. 5 minutes tidying up the kitchen after each meal, 2 minutes making the bed when I wake up, 30 seconds to put away clothes instead of tossing them onto a chair. These small actions, which require almost no individual effort, add up throughout the day and keep the house orderly. This principle has completely transformed my relationship with organization. It's no longer a heavy and endless task, but a series of small actions integrated into my day. And the most amazing part, my home has never been so messy as to stress me out. The sixth principle I've incorporated is the idea of seasonal rotation. Not everything needs to be accessible all the time. Winter clothes can be stored during the summer. Beach equipment doesn't need to take up space in the closet year-round. Holiday decorations have their time to shine and can be put away afterward. I've created a storage system for seasonal items that works very well. I use clear storage bins, clearly labeled, stored in less accessible places in the house. When the season changes, I rotate them. This keeps my everyday closets more spacious and organized while allowing me to store items that I only use during certain times of the year. This practice also brings a periodic refresh to the home. When I take the winter clothes out of storage, it's almost like having new pieces. The holiday decorations, seen only once a year, maintain their special charm. It's a way to appreciate what I already have from a new perspective. The seventh and final principle, perhaps the most transformative of all, was learning to appreciate what I already own. Conscious gratitude for the objects that are part of my life has completely changed my relationship with them. I began to notice small details that I had previously overlooked. The pleasant texture of a bath towel, the clever design of a kitchen utensil, the comfort of a sofa that embraces me at the end of the day. I started treating my belongings with more care and respect, which naturally extends their lifespan. This change in perspective has also drastically reduced my desire for new things. When you learn to see the beauty and value in what you already possess, the constant need to acquire more diminishes. It's liberating to realize that satisfaction does not lie in the next purchase, but in what is already within reach. Now, let's apply these principles to specific areas of the home that tend to be organization challenges for many people. In the closet, the first thing I did was take out everything, absolutely everything, and evaluate each piece individually. It was eye-opening to realize how many clothes I had that I never wore, some still with tags. I sorted them into 3 groups: the ones I truly loved and wore, those that were in good condition but no longer fit me, either physically or emotionally, and ones that were too worn out to donate. The items from the first group went back into the closet, organized by type and color, which makes it much easier to choose what to wear. The second group was donated. The third group was either turned into cleaning rags or properly discarded. I've adopted the habit of going through my wardrobe with each change of season. If an item hasn't been worn at all during the entire season, it's a strong indicator that I can live without it. This keeps my closet current and truly functional. I've also learned the importance of a good folding and storage system. Folding clothes in a way that makes them visible when the drawer is opened, rather than stacking them on top of each other, was a simple change that made a huge difference. Now I can see all my t-shirts at once, which prevents some of them from being forgotten at the back of the drawer. In the kitchen, the challenge was different. I had a lot of utensils and appliances that I rarely used, taking up valuable space. I did an honest inventory of what I really used on a daily basis and was surprised by how much I could simplify. That fancy food processor, used maybe twice a year. The waffle maker, I couldn't even remember the last time I took it out of the cabinet. The collection of mugs that barely fit in the cabinet. Honestly, I was always using the same 3 or 4. I rearranged everything so that daily use items were easily accessible. The large appliances that I rarely use were moved to the top of the cabinet, and many items that duplicated functions or that I simply didn't use were donated. A significant change was the organization of the pantry. I transferred bulk foods into clear labeled containers, which not only saves space, but also allows me to see when something is running low. I organized by logical categories: breakfast, spices, pasta, grains. This made meal prep much more efficient and reduced food waste. In the bathroom, simplicity has worked wonders as well. I limited hygiene and beauty products to what I truly use, and that works for me. Daily use items are kept in the mirror cabinet, easily accessible. Special occasion products, or those used less frequently, go under the sink. I adopted the habit of cleaning and organizing the bathroom sink every night, which literally takes just a minute, but makes a huge difference in the overall appearance of the space and in my well-being when I wake up in the morning. In the living room, the challenge was to create a space that felt cozy without being cluttered. I removed several decorative items that didn't hold special significance for me and kept only those that truly brought me joy or told an important story. I created simple systems for items that tend to accumulate, like books, magazines, and remote controls. A pretty basket for current magazines, an organized shelf for books, and a small tray for remotes. These little systems prevent clutter from spreading. I also developed the habit of doing a quick 5-minute tidy-up every night before bed. Cushions in place, blankets folded, items out of place returned to their correct spots. It's amazing how this small gesture changes the energy of the house the next morning. In the office or workspace, the key was to minimize paperwork. I scanned important documents and set up a simple filing system for the papers I needed to keep in physical form. One rule I adopted: touch each piece of paper only once. In other words, when I receive a piece of mail or a document, I immediately decide what to do with it: file it, act on it, or toss it, rather than create piles to look at later. I organized office supplies into small boxes or drawer dividers, grouped by type. This makes it easier to quickly find what I need and prevents unnecessary purchases of items I already own but can't locate. But perhaps the most important change I made in the office was limiting the number of visible projects and papers at one time. Keeping only the current project on the desk, with everything else properly stored, drastically reduced my anxiety and increased my productivity. One area that often receives little attention but can be a constant source of disorganization is the entryway of the house. I've created a small transition zone with hooks for coats and bags, a small bench for taking off shoes, a tray for keys and small items, and a basket for mail. This simple system prevents these items from migrating into the rest of the house and spreading across different rooms. It also makes it much easier to leave since everything I need is in one place. For the kids and their inevitable toys, I found that less is truly more. Children tend to play in a more creative and focused way when they're not overwhelmed with options. We rotate the toys, keeping only a portion accessible at a time, and we organize them in colorful boxes by category. Involving the kids in the organization process has been essential. Even the little ones can learn to put their belongings away if the systems are simple and accessible. We use label images on the boxes so that even those who can't read yet can participate. We also established the one in, one out rule. Before taking out a new toy, they must put away the previous one. This prevents clutter from building up throughout the day and makes the final tidying up feel much less daunting. As for cleaning the house, I've learned that an organized space is much easier to keep clean. There's no need to remove dozens of items from a surface to clean it, when that surface only has a few essential items on it. I've created a simple daily cleaning routine that takes around 20 minutes in total, spread throughout the day. A little in the morning, a bit after lunch, and more before bed. These small moments, naturally integrated into our routine, keep the house always presentable without requiring a major effort. A valuable tip I discovered is to keep cleaning products and equipment close to where they will be used. A small basic cleaning kit in each bathroom, for example, makes it much more likely that I will clean the sink immediately after using it. Speaking of cleaning products, I have drastically simplified my routine. A good multi-surface cleaner, vinegar, baking soda, and a few other simple solutions cover almost any household cleaning need. This not only saves money and space, but also reduces exposure to unnecessary chemicals. To maintain these new habits, I discovered the power of seasonal routines. 4 times a year, coinciding with the changing of the seasons, I do a deeper review of my home. It's when I reassess what still serves me and what can be passed on, rotate seasonal clothes and items, and carry out maintenance tasks that aren't part of my daily or weekly routine. These seasonal reviews prevent the imperceptible build-up that tends to happen even in the most organized homes. It's like a regular reset that keeps the system running smoothly. The impact of these changes has gone far beyond the physical organization of my home. I've noticed that external clarity has created internal clarity. With less time spent searching for things, dealing with clutter or cleaning, I have more energy and mental space for what truly matters. My stress level has significantly decreased. That feeling of constant overwhelm, of always chasing after the mess, has disappeared. In its place is a sense of calm control, knowing exactly what I have and where it is. Financially, the impact has also been remarkable. I buy much less, both because I'm more conscious of my choices and because I can easily find what I already have. I don't accidentally buy duplicates or items that I later realize I don't need. Perhaps the most surprising aspect has been the impact on my relationships. A quieter and more organized space has created an environment where I feel more relaxed and present for the people I love. Household chores, now simpler and quicker, have ceased to be a source of conflict or resentment. There is something deeply satisfying about extending hospitality in a space that reflects care and intention. Having friends over at my house has transformed from a source of anxiety into a genuine pleasure. If you feel inspired to make similar changes in your home, my advice is to start small. Choose a single space. It could be a drawer, a cupboard, or even your bag, and apply the principles I've shared. Experience the feeling of having that small area completely under control, organized logically, and containing only what truly serves you or brings you joy. From this small victory, you will naturally want to expand to other areas. It's like throwing a stone into a lake. The ripples gradually widen. There's no need to transform everything all at once. In fact, gradual changes tend to be more sustainable in the long run. Also, remember that every home and every person is unique. What worked for me may need adjustments to fit your reality. The important thing is not to follow rigid rules, but to discover a system that works for you and your family, reflecting your values and priorities. Don't seek perfection, but rather progress. There will be days of messiness, moments of relapse, and periods when organization isn't a priority. That's normal and part of the process. The key is to return to the basic principles when you can, without judgment or excessive self-criticism. The journey to a more organized and peaceful home is not about creating a showroom space, untouchable and impersonal. It's about creating an environment that supports your real life, with all its complexities and imperfections. A place that is functional on busy days and welcoming during moments of rest. A space that reflects who you are and what you value. Ultimately, an organized home is not an end in itself, but a means to a fuller and more present life. When we are not constantly distracted by clutter, overwhelmed by excessive possessions, or exhausted by endless household chores, we can direct our energy toward what truly gives meaning and joy to our existence. And isn't that what we all seek? A little more space to breathe, to create, to connect. A bit more clarity about what really matters. A little more peace in the spaces we inhabit and consequently within ourselves. My home today is not perfect, but it is a much more authentic reflection of who I am and what I value. Every object has a purpose or a meaning. Every space was created with intention. And the result is an environment that not only serves me functionally, but also nurtures my well-being on a deeper level. I invite you to try this approach, not as just another task on your never-ending list, but as a gentle path toward more clarity, more tranquility, more intentionality. One small step at a time, one object at a time, one space at a time. Minimalism is not about having less, it's about making space for more of what truly matters. It's about replacing impulse with purpose, accumulation with curation, stress with tranquility. And this transformation begins with simple decisions. What you choose to keep, what you choose to let go of, and how you organize what remains. Decisions that, when added together, have the power to transform not just your home, but your entire experience of life within it. I hope this video has brought you helpful ideas and inspiration for your own journey. Remember that the goal is not perfection, but progress. Every small step counts. Every conscious decision matters. And over time, these small actions can lead to deep and lasting change. Thank you for watching this far. If this video was helpful to you, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. on organization, minimalism, and well-being at home. Share in the comments which principle you plan to apply first, or which area of your home is your biggest organizational challenge. Until the next video, where we will continue our journey toward more organized homes and fuller lives. Take care of yourself and your space with the same kindness. Share this blessed video so it can touch and help others like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you'd like to support our channel a bit more, consider becoming a member. I'll leave you with 2 more videos so you can continue your search. Thank you, and may God bless you all. See you soon.